Hey, yo, little man. What's going on, everyone? Straight out of Compton here with Little Man Yugioh back at it again with another super spicy deck. So I am, you see this contraption and a half on screen, and you're like, wait, is this legal in Edison format? And I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. This is one of my pet decks forever. When I got back into the game in 2014, I took like a 1 year hiatus. Story time. Took a 1 year hiatus, and when I came back, the only deck that I could afford in half format at that time was this deck. And this deck had a lot more toys then than it did right now, right? We had Curry Photon that lets you burn stuff on your own turn. There was Hope for Escape that let you draw a gajillion cards with this deck and get to your combo a lot more efficiently. But here in Edison Farm, we don't have any of those things. And I kind of wanted to revisit getting back into this because this was the $40 budget deck in half format that just won games. I actually got my entire extra deck from winnings from just playing this deck over and over again. It's an absolute abomination. It is Altman at its finest, and it's beautiful. So what I was going to do is going to go through the deck a little bit, go through a couple of replays, and show you why I love this so much. So the combo is evolving these cards right here. So I know you're thinking 3 card combos, 4 card combos, but we're able to get to these cards like somewhat efficiently into this deck. First, starting off with reversal quiz. So for those of you that do not know, you send all cards from your hand and your side of the field to the graveyard and call the type of card on top monster, spell, or trap. If you call it right, you exchange your current life points with your opponent, which is crazy, right? So you're diving down your own life points, switching in with your opponent, and then you're setting up stuff like Lava Golem and Fuma Shuriken. So what this card does is the first effects are relevant of just making a ninja gain 700 attack. This is the most important effect. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you inflict 700 damage to your opponent. So the way that it works with Quiz is you could send you send the field to the graveyard first, and then you switch weapon on a separate chain. This card activates and you deal 700. So you manipulate your own life to do so. And obviously with Lava Golem, they burn a third as 1,000 on their standby phase. Granted, they don't have Book of Moon or anything like that. So this counts as removal as well as being part of like the combo to allow the burn happen. So to OTK your opponent in that turn. Now, to ensure that we are calling the cards right on top of our deck, we have a couple of things here. We have Spellbook Organization and Feather of a Phoenix. Discard a card, stack your deck. Sometimes if a combo piece goes, you want to get it back. This is like a good card to have. And this card lets you see 3 cards deeper, just so like you can set up your one draws with it. So even with that, and just knowing that having knowledge of the top deck is just so important. And you'll see how it comes up in the following games. Cyber Valley kind of doubles as both. Does a few things. It's a battle stopper. It's you banish another card to draw more cards, and also you could use third effect that allows you to target card in the graveyard and almost feather a phoenix it by banishing it in a card in your hand. So it does everything that the deck needs to do, but it's a monster, so you don't want to commit your moral summons. You want to commit more of these cards. Battle Stoppers, Battle Fader, Gorge Trag, super important. Like having these cards right here, especially to deal with big monsters and like Bryonax or Dark Arm Dragons or like whatever, is proven to be pretty broken. So like these cards are really nice. Giant Trunade Heavy, clear the back row just so we don't get Solemn Judgment out of our mind and lose the game. that always sucks. But and I guess that's the reason why it was so good in half format is because this card just did not exist in half format. But it exists here, so I got to play around it with 2 cards in our main deck for it. And then Wall of Revealing Light, very old card also, but you activate by paying any multiple 1,000 and monsters your opponent controls with less attack than theirs cannot attack. So it's not so much the stall effect more than the pay effect. So like if you're ready to quiz them and you just have too much life, you're able to drop your life down immediately and then pull off the combo and then win the game. Obviously, with the stall cards right here, Threatening Roar Scapegoat pairs well with the Cyber Valley and also pairs well with Quiz, so you're able to crash those go tokens up and try to get the damage down to the kill range. And then obviously the stupid draw cards in the deck, Jar, Upstar, 3 jars, 3 legacy, 3 reckless. We're just turboing through the deck. We just want all draw just right to this combo. Gold Star to get us to the key combo pieces, whether it's the board clears where we're missing a piece in hand, Solemn Judgment to say no and pay life. Now, moving over to the extra deck. This extra deck does not matter. Obviously, the Super Poly here, it's neither here nor there. It's Consecrated Lights for the Black Wings, Fossil Dynas for combo decks. Another Lava Golem for going second. Area B bind um excuse me, battle, like the level 4 hero beat, MST super poly for that deck, also Twister for the Kree, and then Mirror Force Torrential and Triple Boku for the side. So right, let's have some fun. We have a couple good replays to show. We have the boy Soul Corona, the soulless Corona in the world. Soul Corona. All right, so I win. He wins the rock paper scissors suit, and he's playing the Vayu Turbo Abomination here. So banishes, starts to set up, sets some good cards and pass. Like this is a good hand against like any normal deck. But you notice real quickly that this deck is so ignorant that it just decides to play on your opponent's turn. Draw the draw ones, and then notice that like one of the things I learned for playing this deck is sometimes you don't the secrecy part is not important. It's more important to get to the pieces because you die like really quickly if you don't have like the right pieces in hand. So starting for the piece because we were over the shuriken and then the stacker obviously is very important. And then obviously with the threatening roar and greed. So he goes and mills 3, gets his Ryko there, punches in with another 14. We do not care because like we want our life low enough. And then we noticed this, and then we drew another gold star getting the True Nade, right? Reckless Jury drawing into the other ones, milling more. And obviously he picked up Dark Arm, the Berry. Like against any other deck in the format, this game is just hella over, right? He has the judgment in the back row. Drops Dark Arm Dragon, and yeah, we don't know why it's graveyard, but he goes for Brionac and he pauses. So he goes to, and that's the best thing about playing the trainable cards is that like they commit more of their cards to it, and then you just put cards like to your and then you're good. And then you get quiz back. Obviously, we're on the reckless. We're not in like a rush to do anything. And our life total means that we could take one attack from these big guys and hopefully just crash the remainder into it. So obviously that's what we do here, like very shortly. He dark arms away, chain reckless to draw 2 more cards. We draw Valley Go. This is very, very nice. 23 indirectly. This is where we dropped the Gores. So we wanted the reason why I thought here is because I wanted to see how much damage I could take, like realistically. And obviously with the 2300, that's the most. But only the Dark Arm Dragon's able to effectively get over that while we keep the token in our field. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to reversal quiz is that you're required to send the cards from your hand in the field. So if you have like tokens on your board, you cannot activate reversal quiz. That's a very important thing to know when you're playing this deck. But we have game right here. We draw Giant from True Nade to hand. We're just going to plop it right down, put the cards right in hand. We normal summon Cyber Valley, switch it to attack. We crash into the Brionac, take 23 for ourselves. Obviously, now we're in quiz range because multiples of 700 is what matters here. And then we kill off the token by crashing the token in. Next thing you know, we pigeon holding. We just stack 3 random cards. We put them back in any order. Then we set the hand and then quiz them, call it right, burn for 14, game's over. Next game, right? No, we're cooking. We're cooking. He opens like another very insane, like powerful hand that would be like usually pretty good against anything else. We start for the quiz again. Obviously there's goats here. Goats very good with Valley, so I threw up the goats there. He makes some very aggressive pushes this game. Obviously, Greffer down, touches Dark Arm, touches down once again, summons the Armed Wing, battles over, and clears all of my go tokens. Again, we are okay in this scenario. We have our draw. We put Yada T-Roar down, which is not bad. We want him to bait Dark Arm. He puts all of his. So this is not like a horrible idea here to play against this deck because like you don't have like this. You don't want you don't want your opponent crashing down. And obviously, if you're everything's in defense, but the biggest problem here is that like we're able to at least like Legacy, see what we pull up. And the normal Valley battle into the Ryko, take 100, drop the Tragodia out of the hand, and we're able to out the Dark Arm Dragon. And then the next plan, which is to banish both of them off, draw 2 cards, and then like keep partying, right? But that's okay. The good thing here is also that like he just discards not to like discard, which doesn't make any sense. He definitely should do that. We got our top decker, which is exactly what we need. He tribute summons for Gores, summons off Sorcerer. We take 23. We take another 23. We down to 33, which is exactly the range that we need. So we would Boku here, normal summon the Battle Fader, crash into it, take 500, stack the deck, and then quiz him right again. Broken. And this next game is against Kurikura. The funny thing is that I didn't actually like quiz him either of these games. He's playing the Alien deck or like a version of the Alien deck. But like I guess like he thought he was playing as Shane Burns, so there's a lot of moments where he scooped like pretty early. But obviously we have practically the kill combo here. Morphing Jar so strong. We have to judgment the Kai's right here. This Morphing Jar is literally gonna yoink us the whole game. We don't have a consistent way of getting to it, but we giant Trunade because we're gonna get so much value off this Morphing Jar. Obviously, we try to conceal our hands, so we just draw our whole deck. And we're fine with just like leaving things here. If he heavies, he heavies. That's just the way it is. But we're able to recuperate some of our losses through like the Gold Sark and the Upstart. And then we bought back over to that. He just scoops because he knows like the end is coming. Even though he doesn't know what I'm playing, he's not seen any of like my weird cards like Fuma Shuriken. Like you should ask questions when you see this card, almost more or less. But obviously, as you see, like there's a lot of cards that do nothing. Dust Tornado, good. This is a great card to side against Quiz, especially if like they're trying to go for their combo and you know that it's coming. And also like you can snipe their like random 1-for-1s on like legacies and stuff like that. But Swords doesn't do jack shit. We could take 500 life points all day long. Doesn't matter for us. I think this is the moment where like what I love about Gore so much is that you're able to like on a deck declaration start like bluffing that you have it a lot harder, meaning that like you can flip your jar grades, you can flip your jar, and if your opponent's just not ready, then like we're partying, baby, just partying. So we'll be forced. I'm going to storm the field and then just start outing things because like I just didn't. I feel like this is like an offensive threat that he needs, and it's very telling that he has Gores in his hand. So we're just like not going to do anything. We're gonna switch 18, poke him because like I didn't want him being like too suspicious that like we're doing something crazy. But I mean he knows we're doing something crazy. And then the jar's coming down again. And then obviously we do the same thing. We flip it all up and then we destroy him with whatever cards that we drew. We could have probably won the game just by like attacking and stuff like that, just being so high up in card advantage, which is definitely a possibility when these two cards are in your main deck. And the coolest thing about this version versus like the later versions of the deck is that Hope from Escape is a very important card in the deck. And what that card does is you pay 1,000 life points, and for every deficit of 2,000 between you and your opponent, you draw a card. So you don't want to deal any damage to them, and you just want to give them life with Upstart. And as you increase that deficit, you're allowed to draw more cards, and that's why, like say the Tangle Plant version or the half version of this deck is just so much better. And then we have a game against Stiva de Jubere, right? So Stiva de Jubere is he goes first. He's playing 42 cards. What a legend. And he's playing this like diva zombie hero with Miracle Fusion. This was one of my earlier games too, and I think this is where I learned that like we should just like Gold Sark for the piece instead of like the giant Trunade. This doesn't matter either. I mean, he's powering through, but we do have crackback here. A lot of the cool things about this deck is that like you don't get comboed out of the game, which is like super nice. It's super nice in just disregard. Zuking out, he's making Dark End, so good. But then after that, we're just touching down with Fader, which is fine. Get this back, get that back. Just plop it down. So there was definitely like a line here that like takes a couple of turns to get the quiz, but like I didn't feel like we had it. So I just like wall revealing light, put myself to 3, and I don't even hit any of the cards that I need for like quiz. Like sometimes during the end phase, you want a spell book just so you could like if you see quiz in the top 3 cards, you're able to like stack that up and then the next card after that. So that's really important. And then but like we decided to go down the route of just like discarding the scores out of the hand to put Gold Sark on top so that if we draw it and he doesn't have like heavy or whatever, but they always have the heavy. Always. Anyway, so we just like lose this one, which is fine. Whatever. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. This is not the best deck yet, but we are power. This is exactly they draw the heavy again, but they got punished. So because they got punished, they're able to just draw 6 cards. We have the whole combo in our hand. It is very hard to lose at this point. But I let him add off Shadows because you know what? This is friendlies. We let our opponents take things back. Shout out to the opponents that let you take things back. Give and like and subscribe for those who let you take things back, like myself. That's what being a good duelist is all about, and then playing degeneracy at the same time. That, my friends, is how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters. So he's gonna diva out, make the Goyo, push through. I don't think we care because like we're just taking a whole ton of damage. You have this. Okay. Future fusion down. And we this is where we T roar. So then we have the lava golem power like going. So we just touch down, we get rid of these two monsters, just the out monsters. While revealing light to pay down to 1,000. Okay. Yeah, we're partying. Then we get the spell card back on top, and then this is where we quiz them. And then we take the game. So he thought it was funny, and I think it's funny too. This is why we play Yu-Gi-Oh! So we burned him out, and then the game's over. All right. This man's not saying it's consistent. Wrong. This shit's very consistent. You just got to max out your draw cards. So we open jar, which is usually a good look. He does not end up heavying again. Like we resolve jar. We're usually supposed to win games like this. So we just draw like 3-5 cards. We teach the man to shout out to the commands on Dueling Book. We love the commands in Dueling Book. So we draw shut down Vader. 300. We bump right in. Pay it down because like we end up having the combo in our hand already. We just and then this fella right here, dust tornadoes and hits the right card. Oh, it makes me so angry because we really should have won this game, but we didn't. So, but this is I also learned a very valuable lesson here. But also, we're going to feather Phoenix, put this back on top, and then draw next turn and try to pass the turn. And then our friend here Caius's us. And I think that's like this is also like a lesson that I learned about like this deck too, is that like you got to watch out for this card and not just pay down your entire life like that. Yeah, that was ignorant. But anyway, that's how we lost Yu-Gi-Oh! But I wanted to show off this deck a little bit because this is a very cool combo deck. This is a very good combo deck too. And I'm definitely going to take it to some whack ass tournaments and we're going to modify the side. And oh my God, get ready for this card to be $10 because you Edison people are sickos. So with that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe for more Edison, Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you like good people related content, peace and have an amazing night.